Stephen and Michael, thank you so much for joining us. I so appreciate it. And you've got this new survey just came out today. Uh, can one of you take it away? Talk about what are some of the big findings, the big key takeaways of this.
Overall, I mean, we did this to really find out what the truth on the ground is, as opposed to just what we thought and through anecdotes. So you're getting a lot of data on how much we actually share common ground in the state, about how we're politically active, and also how polarized we are compared to the rest of the nation, and what some things we can maybe do and how to combat that.
And as we approach the midterms, we all know that it can feel so polarized, especially on social media or what you're seeing on cable news sometimes. So, what did you find? How polarized are we in real life? Michael, do you
Yeah,
want to take that one?
yeah, and it is interesting because real life is an important way to modify it. Right now, we feel as though the whole world is screaming at each other. Our survey shows that only 8% of Louisianans post about politics on social media, and 70% are having conversations, real life conversations with people they disagree with politically. So we feel like there's when people are together, when they're not picturing, a caricature of people that they disagree with politically. One of the big findings here is when we asked people the polarization question about rating parties, when we said, now think of somebody, a Democrat or Republican, that you know personally, and the polarization score dropped by 10 points. So a lot of what we're trying to do with PAR and the Riley Center with this whole Common Ground project is really remind people that they do have a lot more in common if they give it a chance.
Yeah, and we found
Interesting.
some, results showing just how much we had in common. So you have 80% of people want elected officials to find common ground. 72% think constitutional values are still relevant today. 92% believe in equal opportunity regardless of race or ethnicity. And 91% think, that free speech should be for everyone, even people they disagree with. So there's actually more that we have in common, and it's these core important things. And just as Michael was saying, that some of this is overstated in terms of just how polarized citizens are compared to the caricature of what it seems like on social media.
It's so interesting that when you humanize it in a way, people dial back what they think of someone who believes something differently than them. And I also found it interesting that we are less polarized than the rest of the country. Can you touch on that?
Well, just slightly,
Yeah.
just slightly. And it might just be a rounding error. But again, that's why we think, asking that more personal question. And one thing that's fascinating is if we're just about as polarized as the rest of the country, one of the findings that we had that was surprising, we try to compare as much of these questions to polls, national polls, so we can see how does Louisiana compare. And in almost all of them, it's similar results, except Louisianans are almost twice as interested in politics as the rest of the country. And like 10 points more say they talk about politics a lot. So, I think Stephen has used the expression before, if politics really is a spectator sport in Louisiana. And it's kind of nice that that hasn't resulted in more polarization. And it kind of maybe proves the point that the more you talk to other people who have different ideas, the less polarized you are.
Thank you both so much for doing this. It's fascinating work.